Hello everyone and welcome to episode 2 of Jim's Let's Play series on modded Minecraft. Today we've got a few bits and pieces we've got to do. We'll visit a number of bases to get a few things going. So without further ado, let's get going. Okay, last time we got our little farm going here so I can get books being crafted automatically. Since the end of that episode, I've done a little bit of tidy up here with these sort of blocking up off some of the gaps here and things. It's not perfect yet, I'm not overly happy with it, but for the moment at least stops us falling into holes most of the time. Also put some little multi-parts here to stop things getting in with the animals, although there's some little gaps there, but they all seem to have survived so far, so that's good. Downstairs, put in a little elevator and cleaned up the floor. I've also replaced the slaughterhouse we had here with the grinder after that little mistake from last time. So it's getting the leather and mob essence and things from here. That's all being sent into this little ender tank, which sends it off to the liquids depot. I've also added a sewer in with the cows there, so it's getting the XP from their breeding, and that's coming down here. So we've got a fluid conduit in here. We separate the sewerage and the mob essence from the sewer. So just voiding the sewerage at the moment. I think I've got a tank full of it at the liquids depot, so decided not to keep it. Now in terms of actually the crafting, I set that up in between episodes. Just went with the Buildcraft advanced crafting tables. So we're getting reeds in here and the leather in here. A lot more leather than reeds. So creating the paper with this one, which then puts it in here, and then this one grabs it from there and grabs the leather from the deep storage unit to produce the book, and then that just gets piped out here into an ender chest. So since last time I've got a few books building up, which is good. We're getting a lot more leather than we are sugar canes at the moment. So we could either resize things up there, but it's fine for now. Buildcraft lasers continuously consume power whether they're doing anything or not, so put in the gates here with the work scheduled triggers, and so they'll turn on whenever this is actually needs to craft something, and then they'll turn on the red pipe wire, which then enables the output of this capacitor here. So that's a simple, oh there we go, we're getting some paper, and that's gone into here, and this should start in a minute. Oh yep, there we go, good, nice, and then that should end up in here, there, cool. So we've got that just running along nicely. So now I think we can just head over to the enchanting castle, and we won't do any much more work on that today, but we'll move on to some other bits and pieces that I've got to get done. So I'll get back to you in a minute. Okay, we're back here at MultiTown. Actually, the point of this particular base is to have a whole lot of little rooms or things that don't need a huge base, that will just have individual little houses or buildings around the place, so making a little town that just has buildings that are for a single purpose basically. So there's some of the ideas that we've got at the moment, but we are working on this guy here. Now I got all the ender pearls that we started making last time, so we can do a bit more of this. Get this looking good. So coming along. More work to do, of course, but right. And we'll cheat and go downstairs. So our books now, we'll just put here for the moment, ready to go into our system for stripping off all the enchantments. We'll have that feed into here. Cool. However, we'll get back to that later. For now, there's a couple of other bits and pieces we need to do. We need to go to the liquids depot and check on a few things there. Okay, we're back, guys. Now here we're at Liquid Depot Gully. Liquid Depot Gully is a hole dug in the ground, basically. So a completely man-made little hole here, and this is where all our liquids are stored. As you can see, there's a lot of tanks. What I came to check was a couple of things. We're here, the mob essence, so we're sending that through here. Got plenty there. As you can see, we have a tank of sewerage here. That's why I just ended up voiding that sewerage from our cows. And there's a few other bits and pieces. Here's an important one. This one contains plasma, which I'm using for all my IC2 generation, power generation, and it's getting pretty low. So we might have to start up the fusion reactor again to get some more, some of that plasma going. In here is bioacid, which I haven't done the localizations for correctly. So I've got a little bit of that, which is good because I need that for some of the obs geology blocks. So yeah, this was all dug out with a quarry. All these holes. We're actually on a little island here. If we just enable the map, and you can see there, looking down, you can see how it's all been dug out in this little island all around. The walls are sort of made to look like kind of cliff walls. Just go around with a IC2 mining laser and you can blast the cliffs into looking like sort of natural cliffs instead of sheer rock faces. Plus we've got lots of moat creatures hanging around here too, if we can find any. Oh yeah, some horses. Oh, there's an ant over there. These guys are pretty cool. Okay, this guy seems to be stuck in the tree, so why don't we quickly free him? They look very cool. They do leave saplings and flowers and things around the place, but often it grows up around them and they get stuck in it. Yeah, so man-made little lakes using the Buildcraft floodgate, very handy. And there's the house. Basically this base is for doing all things that create fluids, and storing them in the tanks there. So if we go inside, have a link to the sorting system. down here is basically all machines that create fluids. So we have honey and seed oil happening from forestry. Here we have the deuterium and tritium from the for GregTex to get the fuel for the fusion reactor. Basically these just empty the cells that you get. Here we have our sewerage processor, the composter, and we might that's sending it through. We might leave that turned off. And here we have the XP. So I've got Natura XP bushes at the farm that have been being sent to here, that then get turned into orbs, experience orbs by this, and then caught by the vacuum hopper, which then goes into an ender tank, which then goes into a tank over there. Now there's a delay when I got here because I found that I was getting a whole lot of lag arriving here, and it was because I'd left this turned on and the tank had got full, and there was heaps and heaps and heaps of XP orbs floating around, like thousands and thousands, and it was just killing my client frame rate, which is no good for playing or for recording or anything. So I tried to stand here and get all the XP, and if you see my XP, I'm up to 130. I was at 20 when I got here, but after a while that was after about 10 minutes of standing there, so I ended up just deleting them all. If you look here, you can remove 14,000 XP orbs. That's a lot of XP orbs. So yeah, there's something to keep in mind if you're making an automatic XP system. Yeah, don't let it keep going when you're not around and when the tank's full. Cool. Okay, so we've got our mob essence happening over there, which is good. Nice. Okay. Now we need to go take care of that fuel, I think, for our IC2 machines. So we'll head on over to the power island. And here we are. The power island here. This is specifically for any buildings that contain machines or things that generate power. As you can see, we first set it up a while ago, and as you can also see with a floating sign, there did used to be a block underneath that one. Yeah, there were red power micro parts all around this originally, so if we did a block update right next to it, that would probably all disappear, so we'll leave it floating for now. So there's one other building there. That one was by another player on the server who unfortunately moved back overseas, so I was unable to get on very often anymore. And this one here is where I've got most of my power generation happening. And I started that house a long time ago. Cool, so here is our main GregTech fusion reactor for generating the plasma which we use for our primary industrial craft power source nowadays. So we need to get this guy running, and now I have to remember what I need to set up. Cool, alright, let's see. Well, here we have a whole lot of machines for actually producing the fuel, the deuterium and the tritium. It doesn't produce it fast enough to keep up with the reactor, so the reactor just runs for a while to try and get as much plasma as possible with the fuel that we've got. Well, this can run off that same plasma power source to produce more fuel, but we have to turn the the reactor off once we've run out of our fuel, because it doesn't keep up the production. So we'll set this to A. There's two sources of the deuterium and tritium. There's two sets of tanks for them back at the liquid depot gully. So we want A because they've got the full tanks of the deuterium and the tritium. We want to get these guys going again. Basically, we've got some electrolyzers running to get some water cells. These guys give us more water cells. Then this guy is for getting the hydrogen. This guy is just for getting the cans back. And then we have some centrifuges to give us the deuterium and tritium cells. And then those are sent to the liquid depot galley to be emptied in thermal expansion fluid transposers and put into tanks. So now that we've got that happily running again, let's turn that on. Let's see if this does anything. Oh yep, that filled up. Good. Good. We've got a whole little setup here to determine which tanks to send down to here. And then down here we've got our fusion computer. Nice. And these plasma generators for supplying enough power to the fusion generator so it keeps running, so it starts up and keeps running, with some plasma generators to supply power to those. Cool. Alright, let's see where our little display is up here. He's charging up. Cool. Now he needs 40 million EU to actually start, so he's charging up now, and hopefully once it's charged up to 40 million, then it should be ready to actually start, and then we'll see these little seconds ones change. So we'll give that a moment to charge up. While we're doing that, we'll have a quick look at our Buildcraft / RJ Productions, RF, MJ and RF fuel production. I just want to make sure that the boilers are running nicely. Okay, so here we have a hole. Our Steve's Carts tree farm sends things to here. The logs to here, which gets converted to charcoal, and the steam texture is all screwed up here by something. So it produces charcoal, which feeds this little boiler, which feeds the steam oven, and then the charcoal gets sent over to here. That's coal as kind of a backup power source. So the charcoal gets sent into here, and we've got a lot of excess, which is good. And this is our main steam boiler, producing us some steam, which then go into these engines to produce us power, which is excellent, and it seems to be doing very nicely. This one boiler is coping with all my power requirements for quite a while now. I haven't had a need for a second boiler. I did have a while ago, before an update at some point, a liquid fueled boiler, which I was using biofuel from, but haven't needed to set that up again, which is good. So, and that power is just stored in a buffer capacitor here from Ender.io, and as you can see, it holds a lot of MJ, and then that's just fed in to some energy cells, which are then buffered on these tesseracts which provide the steam power for everywhere that needs it. So it's coping well. Okay, how are we doing here? 38,000. Oh, we're almost ready. 39. And that's not good. When it resets like that, then something's amiss. And what is amiss? What have I screwed up? Okay. Alright, give me a sec, guys. I'll look into this and see what I can find, what I did wrong. Okay, we seem to be ready and running. It takes 6 seconds to produce a bucket of plasma, and this just cycles through. And the only thing I needed to do to actually seem to get it running is I just replaced replaced one of these wires going in, and the conduits of the liquids going in, and it seems to be all happy now. So who knows? Maybe just needed a block up next to it for some reason. Cool. So our plasma, yep, we can see it. Every 6 seconds it'll dump a bucket out of here. There it goes into the here, which then gets sent to the liquid depot to store our plasma. Excellent. Good, good, good. Okay. Good. Okay, we'll be back in a sec. Okay, we're just back here at the liquid depot gully. I just wanted to check that the stuff is actually going into the tanks, the plasma, and it is. So, excellent. Good, good. We'll head on over now to the factory and Nexus. This is Simon's base, who is the other main player on the server. This is kind of where we leave messages for each other, given we're hardly ever on at the same time. So, basically, this is how we basically communicate to find out what's happening on the server, and if we want to add mods or do certain projects or things. The reason I've come in here is this is where I basically show him any other of the new blocks I've added with Obs Geology in its latest updates. Basically just place them out, jump into creative mode and cheat some in and set them up so he can see what new blocks are being added. However, this building isn't really meant for that. So we've been meaning for ages to build a building to basically display every block that's added by Obs Geology. So that's what we're going to start next. But while we're here, let's have a quick sticky beak at Simon's base. We're in a void age basically, and there's no mobs spawning. So the lighting's not very good. So he's got his Thorncraft stuff here. Yeah, open computers we've just added, and Simon's loving it. He's finding it better than Computer Craft. We were worried that it was just going to be a Computer Craft kind of clone when we first added it. But it looked pretty cool, so we thought we'd give it a try. We still have Computer Craft, and Simon in particular is loving it, which is good. So hopefully you can get us some nice more projects like the Portal computer. So he's got lots of things here. I think this is a nice little new project he's working on, which will be interesting to see how that turns out. Looking good so far. So yeah, it's a bit of a rabbit warren, and make sure you don't run out of fuel with your with my grav suit or anything else, or we're going to plummet to our death. So now let's think about, we're going to make this new building. It's going to be, I think I'll make a warehouse style thing, basically with lines of blocks to display what each is, and also we'll put in a storage system so that anybody can go and get any of the particular blocks they need. And we might put in, I'm thinking maybe a logistics system. Not sure yet, but basically there will be some kind of system to access all the blocks and store them, as well as display them. And I think the place to put this will be back in the MultiTown, where we've got the enchanting castle happening. So let's head on over there and have a look. Where has he got a little shortcut for us? Hopefully, MultiTown. Excellent. I have already cleared out an area here for us. Haven't done any building yet, but I'm still sort of deciding what to make it out of. It's going to have to be fairly big though, because there's a lot of blocks to show off. So now we've got our Tinker's Foundry here. So I added this in fairly recently. I was pretty happy with how it turned out too. I basically look for any of my blocks that I haven't used to build anything before, and this kind of worked pretty well. So I was happy with this. So this is where we've got some smelteries. We needed sort of a spot for this. I didn't want to have it at my main base because it's got too much stuff in it as it is. So yeah, so you can come here and make any of your Tinker's tools if you like. I used it to make a whole lot of glass because I need this at my Thormic base for all my magic stuff. So I found a spot which is reasonably level just over here, because it's got to be quite a large building, sort of a warehouse style thing with showrooms. If we just quickly look at our map, then we can see there's a fairly large cleared area here. So yeah, I think this will be the spot. We'll sort of blend in the sides of the buildings into the surrounding hills, I think. We'll see if we can manage that. And right, we're going to need to sort of level out this bit of ground a bit. So let's do that. I'll get a filler and things ready, and we'll be back in a sec. So there's the area. We'll just clear this out with this guy. We'll set him to clear. And here's, we're getting some power from our steam power. We'll use some NDIO conduits. And there we are. Excellent. It's clearing out all this area for us. Nice. So we will lose all those blocks, but that's okay. We've got plenty of blue stone and plenty of dirt and plenty of cobblestone, so we're not really losing anything by this happening. So we'll also, I'll have to look into the blocks and see what we'll build it out of. And we might also use the filler just to fill in the floor here, right on the top of a ravine. But oh, we'll live with that, I think. So okay, and it looks like we've reached a wrapping up for today. So thanks for watching, everyone. Feel free to leave any comments and suggestions and things. Next episode we'll look at exactly what we'll build this out of. Have a look at some ideas for some building ideas, and there we go. And we'll continue on with this. So we'll see you next time.